fucks, welcome to John Solo's never-ending Beard Brigade Extravaganza Talk to the Beard show. I'm lost as to even like what we're doing at this point. But before we go any further, I got to tell everyone out there that's been watching these live and everybody that's watching this recorded tomorrow or the next day, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I've never done anything like this before, where we've had 10, 15 guests in a couple days. And this has been a ton of fun for me. So thank you. Thank you all. I love you to death. We have somebody that I've not met personally. Well, actually, I think I've seen you face to face before, but I don't think we've ever actually had a chance to sit down and talk before. Shane Morton, welcome. Thank you for coming.
Hi. Thanks.
Yeah.
It's been an interview orgy in here.
Yeah, exactly. What you all can't see is this is like, and I keep on saying this, but you don't understand. There's like, I don't know, I'm not very good at math. A lot of people in the background here. This is like just a single bed hotel room, and there's a shit ton of people sitting behind us. People keep on coming in and out through the course of these. There's a hot dog stand. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, where are you from?
Well, I was born a small broke child. No, I'm from Kentucky originally, but I live in Los Angeles now.
You're from Kentucky?
Yep.
What part?
Western Kentucky. When I say that, I have to say it with an accent. I can't stop myself.
They sound worse than that sometimes. I've spent a lot of time in Kentucky in the last year because I've just recently gotten into off-roading, which is a strange hobby to get into. And it's not. I don't care about. What I like to do is just get out in the middle of nowhere, which is Kentucky.
Yeah. That's a Kentucky farm pastime.
It's wonderful. So I've spent a lot of time down there, and yeah, even if you do put on the little accent, there's some you just can't understand them. It's that Blazing Saddles, where the guy's like, rah, 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 Reverend.
People are always like, a nice Southern accent, and I'm like, no, where I'm from, this is how we talk.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's on.
So it's very, very country.
So why did you decide to get out of Kentucky?
Well, I was a musical theater person.
Okay.
I lived in New York for a decade, and then met my husband. And he wanted to move to Los Angeles, and I was like, I don't have a reason to say no at this point, so I'll go. If I don't like it, you can stay in LA and I'll go to New York. But I wound up staying in Los Angeles, so we've been together like 20 years now and married for 6.
Congratulations.
I had to get that right.
Yeah.
He'll yell at me later.
LA is crazy town right now. Are you still out there?
Yeah. No, it's nutty.
You guys live in a tent, or how's that?
We live by the tent. Live by the tent. No, I live in Studio City, so I live over kind of by the studios in the area there. And it's just been a really crazy couple years.
I've never been to LA. I've never been to California. I'm a small town Ohio boy, and I'm traveling a little bit now, but I've never been out there. I do have a couple friends that are out there, though, that are saying Hollywood is completely fucking decimated.
Well, Hollywood was decimated before COVID, but yeah, I mean, it's much worse now.
Yeah. Totally not the same thing at all. Everybody's got, it's hobos, tents, fucking tent city everywhere. Yeah.
And trash everywhere.
So you plan on staying there? Are you going to live it through?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in for the long haul. My husband's a school teacher. We'll retire.
Cool.
From there, I suppose, and then who the hell knows what's going to happen after that? Like probably move back somewhere else when we're done. I don't know. Just have to kind of roll the dice and see what the heck happens.
Yeah. Are you a full-time author, or do you have a day job too?
So I have a day job. I work in the performing arts.
Nice. You used your degree. Look at you.
Did not. Yes, I did. Maybe not doing quite what I thought I was going to be doing, but still.
Right.
And I write. I kind of feel like I have 2 full-time jobs at this point in time. I work 40 to 50 hours a week in one, and sometimes 30 to 40 hours in the other. Yeah. And sometimes not. It just depends on
on what you got rolling.
Yeah, and how tired I am at the time. So
it's exhausting doing that. That's how, when I started my company, I was a full-time sound engineer, and at the same time I was running the narration business too, getting all that started. And for 5 years I was doing 100 hours a week, every week. It's exhausting as hell.
Yeah, you don't sleep.
Yeah. You do a lot of cocaine?
I do. I have the mirror just laid out in the bathroom, so I don't even have to move far from the desk. I can just kind of roll over to the mirror.
It's also a diet plan.
That's not working so well.
So how long have you been writing?
I've been writing 6 years.
Okay.
I put out 3 books, 1 a year when I first started. Didn't really realize what I was doing, that it was even a thing, really. You know, gay guy writing some books kind of semi-based on his life. And all of a sudden, I found out that I'm kind of I'm on the edge of a community at this point. You know, like I didn't really know that the romance world existed because I didn't buy my books on Amazon. I bought them at Barnes and Nobles or at one of the smaller bookstores in Los Angeles. And all of a sudden, I did a series called Criminal Delights. I was asked if I would be interested in doing that. And I said, yes. And all of a sudden the whole world of romance kind of opened up to me. And I was just like, what the fuck? I had no idea this shit existed. I didn't know it was a thing. I didn't know these books were out there. I didn't know all these authors were out there. They're not at Barnes and Noble. I'm very confused. What's going on? And some really amazing women kind of set me down and explained everything to me and put me on a path.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So you worked in a bubble for a long time. You were actually writing books, and you just didn't know
I was writing books that no one read because I didn't know what to do with them. I just knew that I wanted to write the book, and I knew I could publish on Amazon.
Yep.
So I did. And then a year later, I published again. And a year later, I published again. And, you know, I sold quite a few copies of printed books for all 3 of them right out of the gate when my friends and family would buy them.
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom. And then, you know, like, I didn't know what else to do with it. You know, and all of a sudden, this world kind of just opened up and exploded and you know, and changed everything for me in a lot of ways.
Did you meet all these authors at a convention? Was that how you discovered it, or somebody reached out to you and you just like the Facebook community, or how did it happen?
Yeah, so I was asked if I wanted to do Criminal Delights and said yes. And then I started hanging out online because I knew what I was writing, but I didn't really know what to do with it at that point in time, right?
Yeah.
So Sharita Lira, who writes under Michael Mandrake and some other names, became a really good friend of mine. I call her Sis. And she was the first person to kind of like, I started asking questions like, what the fuck is a takeover? What? I'm supposed to go in this group and do what? I'm supposed to take it over like with a knife? I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And so she kind of, you know, started explaining all of that kind of stuff to me. And so I was like, oh, wow, this is really a thing. Like there's a whole thing to this that I didn't know about.
Sharita's wonderful.
Sharita's amazing.
I'm waiting. She let me do one of her books, and I'm like chomping at the bit to continue with the series, and I'm hoping I get to.
Yeah, she's a fantastic author.
She's got a dirty mind.
She's got a filthy,
I love
filthy mind, and I love her for it.
Yeah.
And so she was the first person to kind of help me with that. And then Scarlett Snow, Kay American, Emma J, and then Abigail Kade. I came to my first GRL in Albuquerque at 2019 and didn't know anybody except for Sharita, who was coming the next day. And so I had a day of like sitting around, and I'm kind of one of those extroverted introverts. I'm an actor, so I can really, and a Gemini. So one twin is very on, and the other twin is in a corner crying, rocking back and forth, going, please don't talk to me.
Right.
And I was kind of in the middle that day. Both twins were kind of fighting. And I met Abigail Kade, and she set me down at her table and introduced me to most of the people that I now consider friends, sisters, tribe members, whatever. And I really feel like that, you know, there's this amazing group of kinship and brotherhood, sisterhood, whatever you want to call it. I call it tribe for me, because that's a word that I've done hair a couple times. So tribe is kind of one of those important words to me, right? So that...
You're not saying you were a hairdresser. You're saying you did the play.
I did the musical hair.
Okay, yeah. I'm just clarifying for the kids.
You do not want me to do your hair.
I don't have hair.
I'm not that gay. Just so we're clear. I don't want to paint your nails. I don't want to put makeup on you. Well,
suck
maybe
your dick,
if you want to look like a clown. I do, on occasion, when I'm given $50, suck a little dick.
God, I'm so glad you kept.
Or
because I felt so bad about my comment for a second.
no. Sometimes that's how my husband cleans. No.
See,
I'm sorry, Jody.
They told me
popped out.
they told me they were like, he's going to be a good guest. He's going to be, but so when you did this, you came into the community. This is an interesting story for me because something very similar happened to me with the working in a bubble. I did for a number of years. I produced a couple hundred audiobooks before I knew that this was really just people were paying me. So this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to produce them. I'm in Columbus, Ohio. I'm not meeting anybody like that. I don't know a single person in my community that listens to anything like this. I've never met any of these authors face to face. I'm not on Facebook. I don't know any of this. And then I finally got on Facebook and I started looking at some of these groups. And I was like, holy shit. And that's when we started to kind of jump in, feel our way around the community and feel out. There's a lot of people into this.
Yeah.
Then I did my first conventions in 2019. I did Euro Pride Con and then I did GRL. So that was my first GRL when you were there, which is why I know I knew your face. And suddenly you realize this is a big deal. Not only that, but the community fucking rocks.
Oh my God.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Coming to GRL's like coming to some weird, fucked up family convention where you love everybody, but you always meet cousins you didn't know you had.
Yeah, and they don't touch you inappropriately.
Some of them actually completely touch you inappropriately. Or appropriately, depending on how you're looking at it, you know.
GRL 2021. It's a fun community and it's a supporting community. And from what I hear about writing communities, let's throw out a random genre like sci-fi. You go to a sci-fi convention, the other authors aren't coming around going, you need help?
Yeah.
This is what you should be doing to make more money. This is what you should be doing to reach out to more readers. The other conventions, from what I've heard, are a bit more competitive. They don't want to tell you their secrets. They don't. But in this particular community and with this particular convention, it's a totally different ballgame.
Yeah, it's super supportive. I mean, even, there's so many Facebook writers groups that, some of the authors put together and stuff, and they're there to be helpful. Like they really do want to help each other. And thank God, because I mean, I wouldn't probably have been here if it hadn't been for somebody being helpful for me.
Yeah.
Like I was lost. I had no idea what I was doing, nor did I care to really figure it out at the time on my own. It just felt otherworldly. And, writing is such a bubble to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
No one really helps you through that process. You got to kind of figure that out on your own when you're working on your book. And I mean, you can bounce ideas and you can talk, but when it really comes down to it, it's you and your computer screen or a piece of paper or whatever you're doing. And then after that, once you start, releasing the baby into the world or kicking it or whatever you do with it. I don't have babies, but I did just write my first impreg though. So that was kind of fun, but
Stop. All right.
No.
All right. So first off, let's talk about the impreg thing.
So
we'll go back to the kicking
belly
babies.
right now. I just had a salad. No.
Yeah. What made you decide to jump in impreg? This is
because Gia Reeves asked if I wanted to.
Gia is the gateway author that'll get us into all this. Yeah.
When Gia says, "Do you want to write in the new series of Valleywood?"
Right.
You just say yes. I love her. Met her at GRL 2019. Became fast friends.
There was a big. I remember. I might have watched this go down because I remember Gia. She had done something very similar with the Valleywood thing, and she had put it all together, and then she was deciding to do another one. And she said to me at the time, I can't believe I'm going to get into this again, but I'm going to do it. And then I observe her and Elizabeth Silver and a few other authors all in the lounge area, and there's like 20 of them, and they're like, well, I'll take this one, and I'll take. So I watched that from afar. I watched it go down. It's a stressful thing for somebody like Gia putting that together, but it's wonderful exposure for all the authors. It's amazing.
It's great exposure. And I mean, people talk about brand and, all that shit, I guess, and I wanted to write it.
Yeah.
Because I thought it sounded like fun. So, is it what I typically write? No. Will I write it again? Probably, because it was fun. I enjoyed it. And, I had one of my best friends, Drea Roman, was there to be a sounding board for me the whole time. And, and I love her impreg books. And that's kind of how I kind of fell into it myself to do this. And, so I think you have to write stuff that makes you have fun writing.
I thought it was Write What You Know, which is why I thought you did the improv.
Well, I'm trying to decide if I really want to say that. I probably wouldn't have that baby. I'm just saying, personally. But
if you were kick it down a road.
Yeah, somebody else can raise it. But I write Hallmarkish gay romance. I write drag queen detective mysteries.
I heard about
cozy.
that one, by the way, the Drag Queen Detective Mysteries. What's the name of that series?
Drag Queen Detective.
Huh. You should be a writer.
But they're all like men, murder, and makeup, divas, death, and drag, himbos, homicide, and heels.
Himbos, homicide?
Himbos, homicide, and heels.
Himbos, is that I'm sorry, I'm an idiot.
It's a stupid hot boy.
Okay. I didn't know this. Yeah. I'm learning.
Everyone deserves a good himbo to, carry your bags. But I write that. I kind of bounce all over and write what I want to write. But my lane is here, and every now and then I take side roads.
Okay. It's an exciting
if it interests me,
Well, you're running with the right circles. The people that you're describing, the names that we're both dropping here are people that are not only incredible in their genres and are doing really well in the industry, but also are super nice, cool people. And that's everything. And these people are even like, they're the cool people among the cool people, So you're doing good. What are you writing?
It's good to have friends.
Yeah. Well, in low places and I've got cowboy hats and shit. Is that what you're working on right now? Is the Valleywood thing, or are you working on something else?
Oh no. So my Valleywood released, I don't know, like this last month. And I'm working on Drag Queen Detective 4.
Okay.
To be titled.
Okay.
Coming up with that shit is hard. Like titling a book is like wringing your hands, banging your head against a wall, killing somebody on the side of the street, seeing what their insides look like, because you really just don't quite know. You need to like look at their entrails to name your book.
Do you like doing the blurbs too?
Blurbs are fine. I don't really mind those because I kind of write my blurb first.
They seem to bitch about the blurbs. I never understood it. It's your elevator pitch. Come on, do your blurb. But man, all my friends bitch about writing the blurbs.
Yeah, my elevator pitch is Murder, She Wrote with drag queens.
I've been trying to talk my friends in a long time because here's the plot of many an impreg book, or at least the way that it goes. It's 3 sex scenes. The third one they switch, they have a baby. The end. That's the. So I want that to be the blurb. Nobody will do that as a blurb, but I guarantee if you put that as your blurb, that fucker will sell. They know exactly what they're getting and they like it. So 3 sex scenes, the third one they switch, and then there's a baby.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well say, this book is full of some dirty shit. But not just for impreg. That can be said for most of our books at this point in time.
Impreg with dirty shit, if you sift through it, there might be a baby in that shit. But
somebody was talking downstairs.
That's another one that's... Oh. I know. I can't help it there.
We're going to pull that back.
Don't worry. We can edit this. It's not live. It's not live. It's...
Somebody was talking about sex. They were like, yeah, when I'm, this book had no sex. What the hell's wrong with that? And I was like, well, I've got my cozy mysteries and they don't have any sex. They're like, yeah, but we expect that from a cozy mystery. I want my romance to have some sex. And I was like, yeah, I guess I kind of do too. And I really want my romance to have some sex.
All right. We have one of our friends that goes, I want the sex. I want it now. She does that. It's fun. She's here.
She's sitting over there.
She's here, by the way. There's also an interesting thing that goes on that I've heard a lot of discussion about. Difference between women writing MM romance versus men writing MM romance, and the difference between those two. Many people say that this genre is written specifically for women. I've heard this said. Now, I'm not the one that said it, but I have observed, if I do a head count in my room here, there's 2 dudes and about 20 women. And when we are going around the convention, there's a lot more women than men.
Yeah.
Have you found it difficult, and this is going to seem like we're coming in through the back door, so to speak, have you found it difficult to bust into the industry as a man writing this as opposed to a woman?
Nope.
Was excellent.
No. And I'll go a step further.
Okay.
I think that romance is written for people. Mm-hmm. I think that because most of the readers happen to be women and most of the writers happen to be women. Mm-hmm. I mean, romance is, when you talk about the book industry, romance mainly is written by women. Mm-hmm. And, there's Nicholas Sparks out there in the world. And I know some people are like, that's not romance. But it is written mainly by women, and romance has always tended to be read mainly by women. So I think that any kind of romance genre that you throw out there, that is practically going to be, I would imagine, the truth for most romance books, right? But I think a good romance story is written for a human being. And I think that you can, doesn't matter who you are. If it's a good story, it's enjoyable for everyone. And I think, and the same thing for as a writer, like if you write a good story, who the fuck cares?
Thank you.
You know, like it doesn't matter who wrote it. The sex of the writer is completely redundant to the story.
Irrelevant.
Irrelevant.
Entirely. Yeah.
And I mean, and I know who I owe. You know, like
that was a very hip way to say that. I liked it, but no, it's absolutely irrelevant. I've seen this go around a lot in our social media circles.
It's always on Facebook,
and I'm just like rolling my eyes because I'm like, I don't fucking care if it's a man or a woman. It doesn't matter to me one little bit. And honestly, I've seen the same mistakes that they're saying happen from both genders. And a lot of times based on just names, unless you've actually met the person, you don't even fucking know to begin with. So and it doesn't matter.
And no one has sex in real life the way, well, most people don't have sex in real life the way that we have it in a romance book. You know, like it is not meant to be 100% accurate. It is meant to be fiction and fabulous, and it's supposed to make you want to have sex like that. But, you know, I mean, come on, we're all tired.
Right.
Do not fuck me for an hour, for God's sakes. I mean, I do not want to fuck you for an hour either. I'm, you know, like 5 minutes, I'm good. I'm like, just, you know, people, you know, our sex scenes can go on.
It's great when we're doing these because I'm like sifting for gold. And sifting. Oh, look, there's one. This is fantastic. Dude, thank you for coming on. This was wonderful.
It was a pleasure.
You're welcome on anytime. And we do these, not just live at GRL. I've never done this before. Normally we do these on, and just, I'm in my studio and you call in and we do it that way once a week on Mondays. So please come back on. You're more than welcome. You're a great guest.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Yep, no problem. So everyone, Shane Morton, wave at the camera. And next we're going to have a special guest on here before our regularly scheduled program. See you in a few minutes.